guys, welcome back to another video. So, not gonna lie, I'm feeling kind of tired today. But we're continuing on with some more traditional art. We'll get back into some digital stuff probably on Saturday. I know it's been probably a lot of like sketching probably for the last few days, even stream-wise. Besides feeling kind of just like tired, I feel like my eyes feel wonky, which is kind of makes it better than working on traditional rather than digital. But today we are working on hopefully a full colored spread, I'm gonna assume. I had difficulties thinking on what exactly I wanted to do for like a coloring medium for today, or even like the layout. But one thing for sure I knew I wanted to do is making a spread that I can do a little bit of inking, because I got Fudenosuke pens, which I'll show you guys. Oh, by the way, so sketch as usual, done with the High-Tech C Kaleido 5, and I'm using just the red lead in this one. That is blue. We're using the red lead for our sketch because I think we're gonna use alcohol markers today. But the Fudenosuke pens, so these ones are the Tombow version. I've always seen these, and I kind of have like slightly different versions because I have some calligraphy pens that kind of have the same type of nib. So the thing I like about these, they're kind of like a plastic firm kind of tip to them. I don't know how to explain it, so I'll probably show it to you guys, but it holds its shape like super well. This one's like the fine version, and then this is the more like the brush tip or like the softer nib type of version. So just as like a little test, I did this earlier so we could do it before like actually committing, because I wanted to use these fine liners today, but I didn't want to use them then find out later that as I'm adding color I have to commit and then I'm smudging everything. But let's talk about the spread today. So you can barely tell, so this side's a little bit cooler. I have a sheet of a matte sticker paper on this side, and I have one on the very back of this one. Oh, I didn't put it yet. So I kind of use the sticker paper for two reasons. One is to either cover up bleed through. So if you have like a full spread of alcohol marker, illustration, drawings, or whatever on your sketchbook or thinner paper or whatever paper you're using, on the other side you get significant amount of like bleed through, which I've covered up with sticky notes for this one because I wasn't really committed to wanting a super clean page anyways. Or on this side, so you can see that I also used alcohol markers here, and it's on top of our sticker paper, so it kind of prevents it from bleeding through. I can either pre-prep and put down another sheet right here so that I kind of have like another spread I can work on without any issue. Or if I want to use alcohol markers on the sticker paper, because it has like that adhesive backing, I feel like there's always like a barrier, so it's really nice to use as well, so I don't have to worry about bleed through on either side. Otherwise, like, you could definitely just leave it. Maybe we'll leave it so I can show you guys how much bleed through there is. So other than the inking material, which I already mentioned earlier, that was kind of like my main focus and motivation for wanting to do the spread. I feel like August feels like the final month of summer, even though it does like encroach into September like a fair amount. But I find like summer vacation typically ends around like August-ish time, so I wanted to do kind of more of like a very summery-ish kind of spread with desserts, or like fun drinks and stuff with Masaki, my OC. But I wanted to use alcohol markers because I want the vibrancy. I was kind of like flip-flopping between using alcohol markers or acrylic markers. Both of them I feel like would take around the same amount of time, but I kind of wanted like more smoother blending, so we'll see how it goes. Let me zoom in for you guys so that we can focus on our inking. And I'll show you guys like an example. This is just like scrap sticker paper from the one that I just cut. So the difference between these two. So if I go super quick and just using like the tip of our pen here, or like the Fudenosuke brush, whatever you want to call it, really hairline thin type of inking. Or you can press a little bit harder and you can kind of get some thicker fill-ins, I guess. You can kind of like, it's like a versatile type of ink or like a brush marker or like tool. So I really wanted to try it out because I low-key am thinking about I guess like after art fight, I was thinking about whether or not I was gonna do Inktober this year too, So this one is the I guess like the more softer nib. So right away you can get some kind of brush-like strokes, but then you can get like thinner lines as well. But this is really great for like filling in darker areas, or if you want a little bit more thicker to thin kind of line width variation. But I'm also unsure how I want to ink this. But maybe the thinner one is going to be like the pen that I like the most. So once again, I think it's going to be another longer session today. I had half the mind of like just recording the whole session and doing a voiceover for this one because, like I said, I feel like very tired today and my eyes feel a little buggy. I think it's because I got poor quality sleep because my eyes feel like it's having a hard time concentrating. But I did put in like eye drops and stuff, so at least hopefully that will help a little bit. But I love the inking look for this. It's so cool. It's just I'm not very confident with my inking or like my lines. So the ones that I ended up buying, it's kind of like, I think I've talked about this before, that sometimes my parents like order stuff from like an online shop or like Amazon or whatever, and it's like items that, you know, I'm paying for. I will add on like sometimes just like a fun item. So I wanted to add these Fudenosuke pens, and I didn't take like a super close look at like the type of pens that it came with, but apparently it came in a pack of 6, so there's 6 in total. 3 of these softer tips and then 3 of the hard tip ones. So I feel like it will last me quite a while because I was nervous being like, if I really like these pens, is there a way for me to refill them? And I did see a video where a person did refill them. I just don't know if I trust the ink is the problem, because you can kind of like yoink off this end and like take some sort of like syringe or eyedropper, whatever, and put in your own ink. But now that I know this one's like a water-based pigment ink, I might be able to find something that's like suitable. But before I get like too derailed, also my mic is so high up. 1 second. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear the inking noises. I feel like it's too soft for you guys to hear anything. But I added these pens into the cart, and I don't know if it's me adding the pens or whatever my mom wanted to buy. Hello, Mike. Yes, I don't know if it's because like my items, like these Fudenosuke brushes, or it was whatever my mom wanted to order, which were also like some sort of like markers and stuff for work. It usually gives you like an estimate, right? And the shipping's like pretty quick, but it didn't arrive that day. And then I get an email saying that your item is delayed. We'll give you like another notification or like update you on your shipping situation when we get more information. I'm like, okay, awesome, like whatever, I'm not in a rush. And then it comes like also on a day that it did not mention. I think it said like, oh, your order will arrive Monday. So it's like kind of like almost a week after the initial date. But then it comes on Sunday, but then the shipping never changed. It never said, I think, that it got delivered, and I'm like, oh, that's strange. And then, like, a couple of days later, so not on the Monday either, I receive a package. And I'm like, but I didn't order anything else? I was a little bit baffled, being like, but I shouldn't be having another package. So I open it, and it's like another set of the markers that my mom needed. And another of the 6 of these Fudenosuke brushes. And I'm like, holy moly. I have way too many. So I'm kind of considering that I might just gift them to friends. Because now I have 6 of each, which I feel like is like an excessive amount. Granted, like even with the 3, at least I wouldn't have to worry about refills like super quickly. Because I get into like bouts of the urge of like to ink. I think I was like that with the other calligraphy brushes that I own. But after refilling them with like ink that I thought was compatible, they didn't behave the same, so they're not my favorite to work with right now. This is cute. I like the thinner lines a lot. So I feel like Fudenosuke pens probably were more for, I'm assuming calligraphy maybe? or mimicking something similar to calligraphy, but I'm sure like, you know, illustrators use them because I know Tombow is like a very popular brand as well. I don't think I really talked about the spread as much as I was initially going to talk about. So we are drawing Masaki, like I mentioned earlier, but to kind of keep it summer colors-ish, I wanted to draw and put some cute, like looking desserts, because Masaki has like a major sweet tooth. And I remember seeing these really cute kind of like floats with like a little bunny design. They're kind of like more melon soda-esque. So I thought it'd be something fun and vibrant that we can also just color together. I'm a little bit worried. So even though I love using sticker paper for like covering up our bleed through or to protect our pages, the downside is the fact that I feel like the markers don't really blend on the surface of it. So we're gonna probably keep these very much like more cell shaded look or flats only. Everything here I might do a little bit more like softer shading here and there. I hate this finger. I drew it so poorly. But the thing about these pens that I really like compared to like fine liners is the fact that it has more of like that plasticky flexible nib versus like that really tiny, almost like felt plastic, where if you press super hard, it kind of flattens the one side and it almost feels like it's unusable. I am a little bit more careful with using this one at least. And I guess it's because like if I do want thinner lines, I do have to use a lot less pressure. So kind of like a melon soda-esque type of drink here. And then I have kind of a parfait cup with like a little smaller Masaki. And because I couldn't fit his body in with this being like on a table or something, like I drew him a little bit too large and a little too low. I decided to put like, I'm gonna put new as like a little sale sign type of thing. And then down here, I thought if we have some like reoccurring colors, we can do like a little color swatch just to help break up the entire spread. Because I'm assuming everything's gonna be like more green and brown or like green and like a minty color. But I just want to like mentally prep myself for Inktober. Are you guys like gonna participate in another like monthly challenge? I've always thought about like joining Huevember instead, but it seems way more daunting and a little bit more time consuming. Maybe it's because I find color overwhelming. But if you love color or like want to experiment with color, you might want to look into Huevember. I feel like I don't really like how I drew his face here. He looks a little different. I think it's because like I tend to draw him with like a little bit of softer features. I was gonna draw Selwyn today, but I stopped myself because I've drawn Selwyn so much. I feel like for a video that I haven't been drawing Masaki as often anymore. But also for like Inktober, I'm not completely sure how I want to tackle it, other than I think I want to go do traditional, because last year I did digital, more of like playing around with grayscale, some brushes and stuff. And I did like OC-tober, so all of my OCs following like a certain prompt list, I think from Stormy or Stormy Myth, one or the other. Maybe I'll use like the larger one, or like the soft brush. We'll quickly do the text so I can figure out where to stop and start for his hands. But for like Inktober, I don't know if I want to do more. Do I want to do this in black? Would that be cute? Or maybe I'll just add a drop shadow. I feel like that's what I like doing. But for kind of like material wise, other than I know I want to do traditional art, the thing I'm kind of like debating is like if I want to do ink washes. Because I do have to think about if I want to do it in my sketchbook and then maybe carry it over to another sketchbook. Do I want to keep them nice and small? Like one day, like I think one, what is it called? Inktober. I did Niji Livers, Niji-en in order. But then I would do them on almost like small sticky note sized drawings in my sketchbook just to keep it more manageable. I don't know. Digital's a little bit easier for me like to experiment and be a little bit more carefree about what I can use. Traditional, I do have to plan a little bit. Not everything works on every surface or like, you know, I hope. But if you have, or if you plan to join Inktober this year, let me know what medium or like what type of iteration of the monthly challenge you're doing for the month of October. Because I know there's like OC-tober. Some people don't do like ink per se. It's kind of like the month of an art challenge, a daily drawing challenge almost. Someone suggested something really cute though, like a Pokemon one. And I'm like, what if I did Pokemon partners for every day of Inktober? Because each of my OCs have different Pokemon partners, like multiple. So like, it's not like I wouldn't be able to have enough. I was also thinking like maybe I'll do a chibi for every day. Full color chibi with like a Pokemon partner. Because like, another thing I've been struggling with, I think more this year, is like I've been hating my chibi art more and more. Except for like the ones I've done for commissions, because I think I put more effort into them. So maybe I could do that instead. No, these A's don't match. I also think I want to push myself to finish the sketchbook before October. I have another sketchbook, which might be spoilers, that is a either 8x10 or almost like a... I don't think it's a full 8.5 by 11, so it's not like an A4 sketchbook, I don't think. But I think it could be neat to have something a lot larger so that I can work with different compositions just on half a spread instead of a full spread. Because I know it's not like a good excuse, but it does deter me a little bit when I work in a smaller sketchbook-ish. I guess this is more like standard size maybe. But doing like full bodies and stuff, because I feel like they sometimes get awkwardly cut off if I don't do them small enough. Very wonky looking star. Oh well. I don't know if all that inking was like off camera. I do apologize. Maybe I should move this so I can keep it more of an appropriate angle, I guess. But sometimes like when I do more black and white inking like this, I want to put like more black so it's like a bolder look. So then when we add color, I can keep things either flat or more softer if I want to and just have the contrast be the lines. But then other times like I want to go ham with like color. But having a marker that can also do... Or having a pen? Would I call this a pen? I guess it's just a pen. A fine line. It's not even a fine liner. A brush pen. But having it be able to do both thick and thin is like very convenient. I think I still struggle to like my inking though. I feel like it's a little bit more necessary for some of these things, you know? And I don't know if it's my brain feeling a little bit like overstimulated. I'm just listening to the Pokopia music again, specifically the Bubbly Basin one, because I mentioned before that it has very calming music. I also can't wait. I was so excited about like the Bubbly Basin DLC kind of like little update that I forgot about the event that's coming up. So it's for Feebas and Milotic. Wow. Suddenly changed the angle of the pinky and now it doesn't make sense. The reason why I'm excited for that event is because there's like pink and blue items that are so cute. I think Feebas is very cute though. I know like it's supposed to be like an ugly fish. But I don't know. I'm always like on the fence if I like Bruxish them as a Pokemon, like design-wise. I don't dislike a lot of Pokemon. I think it's only Goldango. But I've come to warm up to Goldango a little bit because of Pokopia. Otherwise, I don't really care too much about the Cheese String Man. Our little surfer dude. Maybe I'll do a thick outline around it also, just to make sure that this one pops forward. But the blue and pink items I'm excited for, because then I don't have to repaint some stuff. It just fits very well. And I just love water Pokemon. Like I always loved Milotic a lot. I will learn to get better with this type of pen. Even if it's not for Inktober, I will try my best to like these ones. Because I do think like a pen like this I am more likely to use. Because I don't have to carry around so many if I want to do something that has like the, you know, more dark areas and thinner lines. Because I love using my Energel Clena a lot. But those ones you get more of like consistent thin lines-ish to a certain extent. Yeah, I think like cell shaded would look cute. Maybe I'll do that for like the entire spread so that one, we can keep it simple, but two, I think it will work very well. Well, I'd like more drop shadows, I think. I do like adding text to help break up like parts of the spread. It's like a fun way of adding like a more graphic element instead of just adding only art of characters or like of objects. For smudge, not bad. I think I mentioned it before. Masaki typically is like one of the OCs that it's very easy for me to freehand, or not freehand, like to make recognizable and to draw because the pattern of his hair is like usually fairly consistent. I did end up drawing his face wonky, but at least like his hair looks like him. I cannot wait for like the autumn kind of fall months. I love when it's more cooler, but then also the warm tones of fall is always like very nice. It's very cozy. It's cozy season. Aesthetic wise, which is why I wanted to draw something that's like a little bit more fun colors. I was thinking like maybe we could go blue, but I ended up changing this. It was like a mint chocolate thing. I'm gonna swap the mints around so that Hansuke can be more of like green, because I wanted to add like a little parfait Hansuke design here. Because when I initially like sketched these out, I found references of like some cute looking desserts or drinks. I want him to be a little bit more melty looking. But hopefully this like kind of fits with what Masaki, his color palette is. Yeah, it looks like him. So how straight a line we can get. We're a little tilting. The line itself I think is straight, it's just the angle made the cup a little little funky. Wait, speaking of cups, there's like a cup I always like alternate between using. I use like a metal tumbler, which I have today. This one. But I usually swap it with like another kind of like taller glass cup with a lid. Because I usually make like any of my lattes or like iced lattes, I guess, coffee, milk teas, Earl Grey, London Fogs, etc. in that cup. It broke yesterday and I was so devastated. Because the bottom, like, if I put my hand to like clean the sides of the cup, for some reason as soon as I picked it up, I put my hand like near the inside of it. The bottom just like popped off. And I'm like, okay. One, there's no really way to salvage it. The only thing I'm thankful for is the fact that it only came into 2 pieces. It didn't really have any like glass shatterings anywhere, which was nice because it made cleanup very easy. But it did make me sad that I wasn't able to have that cup for longer because it feels sad, but also it makes me a little bit deterred from wanting to get like another glass cup because it just randomly shattered for whatever reason. And I feel like my hands are very like squishy. I've had like a person tell me that like she's like, oh, your hand feels like it has no bones or whatever. So I like sticking my hands like into the glass to wash with like a sponge. And there was one time I gripped like the side and I like took a chunk off. But I think I won't replace that cup even though it was my favorite. Because I use it like every week, on and off, every other day, basically. But I'm not fond of the glass. It feels so annoying that it breaks. I think I'm just gonna stick with, I think I have one more plastic one with like a hard plastic. I think it was like meant as like a boba type of cup. that someone gifted. And then I have my metal tumbler, which I'll use a lot more now. Also, I have like a weird paranoia thing about straws. If they're not like the plastic kind of like bendy straws, which you should, you know, move away from if you want to use less plastic, or like the paper ones, usually I'm fine with. I've never used like a glass straw, but I've heard people talk about like that shattering when you're drinking, and that scares me. But the other one is like metal straws, which is like what I use. I always think they're gonna like impale me if I'm walking down the stairs with my drink. Like I'm gonna trip and fall and then land on the straw and it's gonna like puncture me. Because I think there's like a story that I read. I don't know if it was true or if it's like one of those things that people have told and maybe it like got out of hand, where I think a lady was walking down with her drink and she had like a metal straw or a glass straw. I forget which one it is. And I think she punctured her neck when she fell because the straw, you know, just went straight in. But this is how our spread's looking. I don't know, do I want to outline this as well? A thing that, you know, a little bit of cleanup. Can't fix at least a little bit more. Not like completely. Because my hands are not like super steady. They just do their best. I'm thinking for the stars I want to also add a drop shadow. But then we'll get ready to do... I should have made that a lot thinner actually. Oh well. But we'll prep to do actually our colors next, which I'm thinking if I want to keep them very bright or if I want to go like pastel, or do I want to go like a limited color palette? I don't know yet. Because I'm kind of like imagining the spread to be either very pink and green or just brown and green. Is this the thicker one? I was using the thin one. No, this is the thin one. I'm getting them mixed up. The black barrel is the thicker one, yes. Okay, I think we will take a little bit of a kneaded eraser and I'm going to erase some of my lines here. And luckily you can see that none of the inked areas are smudging, which is very nice because that's like something I'm always wary about as well, where like if you take a kneaded eraser or like a general eraser, like a normal white one or like, you know, a pink one, whichever, a harder eraser. It's just like the idea of erasing on top of everything kind of like in a quick motion like this. Usually there's like smudges or like maybe areas of like undried ink. And they will smudge a lot. I can see it's picking up a little bit of the ink, but I think that is fine. It's not like too bad. Otherwise it'd like be more pure red. Nothing that we can't clean a little bit into our kneaded eraser here. I finally changed my kneaded eraser, by the way. If you're here for like the stream, I think I showed it. Otherwise, yes, we have a new kneaded eraser because the other one is getting all filthy and filled with graphite, so. Hey, so let's go ahead and choose some colors. I might do that off camera so that we can quickly choose them and then color in Masaki for today. Okay, I think I found the colors that I want to use mostly. I'm mostly using the Ohuhu ones. I have one of the Arrtx sketch markers and I'm using the Copic skin tone set because I know I can refill these ones a bit later. So I've been relying on them for every time I need like something for a base for the skin tone typically. Maybe like a little highlight. And like I said, I feel like people's experience with using alcohol markers on your fine liners are gonna be different. So hopefully you can find something that works for you. For me, like any of the water-based ones truly do work really nicely, at least for me. There's like, I think minimal. But like I said, it might be because of the sticker paper too. That make it a little bit more. I think that maybe there is like a tiny bit of bleeding in some areas, but I think it's from the ones on the sticker paper mostly on here that I saw it. Oh, I also forgot to add in a sheet of paper in between. So I'm just gonna add this in so I don't have too much Oh, I guess it is smudging a little bit more, so maybe it's not entirely true. Which is why it's important to test your materials thoroughly if you don't want them to have like this issue. It does make me think whether or not like, I was trying to look it up but I couldn't find anything about it. Whether or not like pigment based versus dye based is a little bit better for something like alcohol. Like if one's more susceptible to bleeding and smudging. It does suck that this one does bleed. It's not as bad as some like other ones I've seen. Like it's very subtle the way it's dispersing. But still definitely not ideal, you know? Just be careful where we're laying our marker. This feels like a bit of a different style. Even the way how I'm coloring it feels like a little bit different. That's a little sad. Oh well. I'll know to stick with my usual materials then. I definitely will look into refills for these two specifically because I use these for the base of my skin tones a lot of the time and then build upon them. But it's nice to have these ones on hand because for the Ohuhu set, because I've drawn so many characters and illustrations of people, typically a lot of like the more lighter, like if I need to fade out a color, a lot of my lighter ones are like running out. Not all Ohuhu markers have like refills from my knowledge, so it might be a little bit harder for me to find something that I know will work. I also might find an actual gray instead of using purple. Let's see what does this green look like. Little spoon. And then we'll add in his eye color. I think I ended up using G3. I might add like a little highlight at the very bottom as well. Still cute though. We'll darken up our green. He seems so different. Maybe it's like leaning a little bit more like graphic novel-y kind of look. I'm thinking maybe I will want to add like, will this one work? I think it's too light. Maybe one more passive shadow. I feel like this was mostly just to warm up the skin tone, but I don't really have like an actual shadow color. 160 is a little too dark. I'll try this color. That's not that bad. I know I said I was gonna go more like cell shaded, so that way it requires us to do less blending. Kind of gives it a little bit more of like a softer look too, to a certain extent. So I couldn't find like a marker that wasn't running out, that was like the perfect Masaki color. I feel like this one works really well. So this is from the Arrtx set. It's kind of more of like that seafoamy green. Let's have a little bit of like a rim highlight right there. And then for the drink, well, hopefully I can get this in the right order. I didn't really think about how I wanted to take like the actual glass into consideration. So we'll see how this goes. Because in a sense, like for this one, I do want to add more of like a gradient. So if I could blend it out, that'd be great. And I want this to be fairly vibrant, but taking advantage of like where the little edges for our glass, so it doesn't look like it's too flat, hopefully. Fun. Okay, so we're gonna do a mix of kind of our green, because the cream is supposed to be white, but we can use it for a little bit of the shadows here. You can either add blue or you can add purple. I'm gonna add a little bit of blue. Keep this all in all in frame. I never use like the fluorescent colors, but I feel like it would be fun here since there's only like very few areas of pop of super bright color here. Let's see, and same thing for a little cream bunny. light little warmer hue to it all. It feels almost a little alien-y. Alien-y? For some reason I couldn't say that. Whoa. I've never had this happen before. It looks like the marker bursted and then congealed. Hopefully this side's better. Okay. I don't think I've ever seen that before for an alcohol marker. It never feels quite like him until I add like also the brown in conjunction with like our seafoam green. I don't know if I chose the right brown though. I might have chosen something very yellowy. Sometimes I make Masaki a little bit more like warmer with the hair color. But it's good to use like different markers too, because I can feel that I haven't used this marker a lot because the tip is very sharp and the brush tip itself is still very firm, which means I haven't used it like a lot at least. Because usually it would squish down a lot more, I feel like, or like hasn't retained the tip of the point super well. It's like very much a different style of Masaki, it feels like. He looks a little different. Not like design-wise, but like the way I think I've drawn his face feels different. I think it kind of works. It looks kind of cute. I don't know what I want to do for the text. It feels not very much like Masaki if I go completely red. But I know it'll pop out the most. Because like, what if I make the star teal? Or like turquoise, seafoam green, whatever you want to call this color. I keep moving this over and over again, I do apologize. So I'm thinking... we could try fading it out, but... maybe we'll just use the fluorescent red, because it's kind of like pinky, and when it dries it's a little bit more orangey, if anything. Because that way it can at least like just stand out from everything. I think I explained why I wanted to use alcohol markers today. Other than the fact like acrylic markers was kind of like on the table as well. I think I said that like at the beginning. But another reason is because like when I ended up doing the live stream of me working with alcohol markers and showing you guys how my process usually goes, I technically still had all my alcohol marker illustration supplies out. So I thought it would be easier for me to like not need to pick something completely new to, you know, to use here. Lightning yellow. Because I kind of want to add another color with the new. Or do we want to make the text yellow? Let me look up a sign that has like new for like a product. I don't know how I can search this up. Product new sign. New product. Okay, it seems like it's white font with red in the background. So we'll just do red and I'll decide if I want to add that yellow. Because luckily I only added like a little dot. Because if I add yellow there, I will add it on like some of the remaining stars so that it's present in other areas. Just to keep everything nice and cohesive and I'm not introducing too many colors. I think I like it as white, I think. I think it's cuter. I guess we'll make this star same color. And maybe the one at top we can make also teal, I think, or green. Added our brown. I think this is like chestnut. No, light walnut. I feel like a chestnut brown would have been warmer, maybe? Just so I don't introduce too many new colors, we'll just use the purple that I was using, I think, for his skin. For extra shadows here. Okay, so what else do I need? I think the Hansuke little ice cream, whatever this is supposed to be, should be this color, even though it's not technically correct. I feel like it just fits a little bit more. Well, why did I choose this color? It's a little bit more on the dull side, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. Let's keep our coloring to a minimum for some places here. And then I have this color, which is Lipstick Natural, which I'm going to use for our cookie here. And our little chocolate chunk. I guess I could make one of these stars also the brown. I just don't know if I like it because of how dull it is. I don't know if it just wouldn't work. Maybe one of the greens would work better. Horseradish. This is like a very vibrant green. Like I said, I don't think I can really like blend on the sticker paper per se. So I kind of just commit with the colors because I think it's a little harder. Or maybe it's not too bad. Honestly can't tell. Oh, I chose this color for the spoon. Is that why? I can definitely use more of our meadow green and a little bit of our blue if you want to change this to be a little bit more mintier feeling. Smidge of blue. I think it's kind of a cute spread. I don't know if I want like an extra like background color too, just to unify everything. And then maybe we'll look for like a peachy color, like a soft pink. I think I need to darken the chocolate here. It blends like actually okay. Maybe I didn't try hard enough before. But the contrast makes it a little bit more appetizing. But now we're getting in a territory where it's feeling a little too surreal for a food color. Okay, let me think what color would work with this. Because I already chose kind of like an accent color. I feel like something else might be a little too powerful. Or not exactly like a grid background per se. I think it could be fun to add some sort of stripes going across. It's just how much do I trust myself? Typically very little. Do I like these together? Like side by side though. It's kind of cute. I'm thinking if I wanted to alternate and do like thinner and thicker strips, or do I just want to go all the way across? Because if I do two parallel lines, parallel diagonal lines going across like this, which I don't know. The thing I don't love is it is going to hit the new, because it's not fully contained, but you know, it's okay. Maybe we'll do that. We'll fan it out so it's a little thinner on one side. It's keeping the lines parallel is a little annoying. This is very vibrant. I don't know if this is the right color choice, honestly. Because I feel like I like the fact that the red or this color was kept more to a minimum. I guess the green is more like our accent color now. Because I feel like this is mostly our secondary color. Like our second main color, I guess. Before things get too out of hand. I feel like it needs to be one more. Is this... was this the best option? I don't know. I think the colors are fun though, but just the distribution of the colors are maybe a little wonky. I think after today, after this session, after the Danheng marker drawing, I just need to sketch. Good old black and white. No color. No thoughts. Forgot his bracelet. That's okay. I think it's funny. It kind of gives me diner vibes. I'm just wondering, should I also like put a dark outline for him? Maybe. I'm just gonna try to add our colors in here. So I wanted it to be... You know what this reminds me? It kind of looks like, I don't know if it's still the same one because I haven't ordered from Domino's in like a super long time. Don't they have like a little bar that you can kind of check where your progress for your order is? I feel like it kind of looked like that. I don't know if it was for like hockey season that I had it for that vibe. Don't love this color palette though, but I think just because of how I have it on the page, I think it looks okay. I feel like this is a very ugly color palette. Maybe because it lacks contrast as well. And the fact that I feel like it's leaning, like it's cool to a certain extent, but then I don't know if it leans entirely cool in terms of like color temperature. Okay, let me clean up and we'll come back. I'll talk about the overview of this and then... Hey, I think we're done. I am a little sad that these pens do bleed if you use a lot of the alcohol marker in one place. I think when I did my minimal testing, even though like I did do a lot like of concentrated color here, I was not able to see that there was bleed. And I should have used a lighter color because I think it's more evident in the yellow. But I don't think it'll stop me from using the alcohol markers too much with these pens in the future. I just have to be a little bit more careful. As long as I don't mind having like some white splotches here and there. But on the back side, you can see the bleed through. It's very, very apparent on this paper. So like I mentioned, you can use like sticker paper to cover it. You can use sticky notes, you can use acrylic markers, you can use like normal paper, place it in, tape it in, whatever. I like using sticker paper typically. It just gives me an excuse to start like completely fresh. And I don't have to worry about like using tape or adhesive or anything to stick it on. It already has like its own adhesive. So it's really nice. But it's like, you know, like I said, there's other ways you can use other materials to cover things up. And yeah, I think that's it for today's little spread. We'll move my bookmark. And I'll see what happens to this page, whether or not I'll just like completely cover it up or I'll use something else. Yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for hanging out with me, and if you guys were drawing along, let me know. Otherwise, yes, I think that's the end for today's video. I think Misaki turned out like okay. It does give me a little bit more like retro vibe in a certain sense. Even like the style doesn't seem very much like me. It's like in between. I don't know. He just looks different. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys next time in the next video. Also, thanks for hanging out on the recent streams as well if you did. I don't know how often I'll stream, but I'll see you guys when I see you guys. Bye!